Hello class, today we'll be presenting Chapter 14, The Basic Tools of Finance. Who will be presenting will be myself, David Meza, Mason Nindle, and Jimmy Keene. And behind the camera and working on the computer is Dylan O'Donoghue.
Financial decisions in your life are very important, but two of the main aspects that it comes down to are time and risks.
Time and risk concerns our daily lives today and will affect how our lives will be in the future.
This chapter will help us understand the financial decisions that people make within the market. This chapter will touch on 3 different topics: comparing sums of money at different times, how we will manage risk, and how to analyze time and risk to understand value of assets.
Now, imagine if someone offered you either $100 now or $100 in the future. What would you rather have? You'd probably rather have the $100 now because you can put it in the bank and over time you'll earn interest.
The lesson is that money is more valuable now than it is in the future, even though they're the same amount.
The harder question is, what's more valuable, $100 now or $200 in the future? That's where interest comes into play. Depending on the interest, $100 now could be more valuable than $200 in the future, whether that be 10 years or 5.
So as you can see, the $100 is the present value. After every year, the interest rate will go up. So this $100 will be more than this.
So referring back to the story, if I have $100 now, 3 years from now it's going to be worth more than if someone were to give me $100, because future value is worth more than present value due to accumulation.
Life is full of gambles. When you go skiing, you risk breaking your leg. When you drive to work, you risk a car accident. But the rational response to risk is not to avoid it at any cost, but to take it into account in your decision making.
Referring back to what Mason said, people like to be more risk averse, which means they dislike breaking a bone more than they like skiing.
Imagine your friend asks you to flip a coin. Heads, you gain $1,000. Tails, you lose $1,000. Most risk-averse people would decline this offer.
Utility is a person's subjective measure of well-being and satisfaction. So if you gain $1,000, the amount of utility will increase, and if you lose $1,000, the amount of utility would decrease.
The utility function plans out because the more wealth someone gains, the less utility they get from an additional dollar. If we go back to that $1,000 bet or the coin flip, you can compare the amount of utility decreased when losing $1,000 and the amount of utility increased when gaining $1,000. This is a larger amount, so they're more inclined to decline the bet.
The market for insurance is people will pay insurance companies to cover all or part of the risk that they are having. And the gamble with that is, even though you may not face the risk, you still will pay the insurance premium because you want to receive peace of mind.
So in a sense, all insurance contracts are gambles. You may not break your leg, or your house may not catch fire, but for peace of mind, people will buy the insurance.
To hit back on insurance, the role of insurance is not to eliminate risk, because that's impossible, but it's to spread it around more efficiently. The market for insurance also has issues. A high-risk person is more likely to apply for insurance, but with that, they have less incentive to be careful.
Diversification is the reduction of risk by having a larger amount of smaller unrelated risk. So it's basically saying don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So going off what Mason said, all the eggs in one basket scenario, say if you have 100 different types of stock, you're going to have less risk. So if you were to have one stock, you're going to have more risk. But because all of them are less likely to fail, the better you are.
Going further into diversification, it is easy for a market to get rid of a firm-specific risk because a firm-specific risk only deals with one company within the market, while market risk affects all of the companies inside of one market.
Diversification ultimately reduces the risk of holding stocks, but it does not fully eliminate it.
When people increase the amount of savings that they invest in stocks, they also increase the amount that may come in return in their earnings. But this also increases the amount of risk.
To sum it up, the more a person puts into a stock, the greater the risk and their return.
To further explain what Jimmy and I have said, if you invest 25% of your savings, you'll have about a 4% return, and you'll have a lower amount of risk compared to as if you were to invest 75% of your savings.
Fundamental analysis is the study of a company's accounting statements and future prospects, and to determine its value. If it's undervalued, your price would be less than the actual value of the company. Overvalued is price is greater than the value, and fairly valued is your price equals your value.
You can use fundamental analysis to decide which stocks you want to invest in.
And back to the tool of diversification, when using fundamental analysis to invest in different stocks, choose multiple stocks. It'll help you out in the long run.
And going off what David said and what I said way earlier, don't put all your eggs in one basket. The efficient markets hypothesis is the asset prices reflect all publicly available info about the value of an asset.
The final valuation is the market irrationality. The efficient market hypothesis provides the information that buyers and sellers will think rationally when given information of a stock's underlying value.
That concludes our video, and hope you enjoyed our message about the basic tools of finance.
And I hope you learn how to compare sums of money, how to manage risk, how to analyze time and risk to understand value of assets.
We love economics!